Today we're unboxing and testing something I've been really excited about, the brand new Atomos Ninja TX Go. This is the latest 5-inch monitor recorder from Atomos, and honestly it's packed with so many upgrades it feels like a whole new generation of Ninja. If you're shooting on a mirrorless camera with HDMI and want a brighter and larger screen, better on-screen monitoring tools, or you want to step up to ProRes or ProRes Raw, this might be the monitor recorder for you. And it's a bit of a bargain. That's because at £718 or $800, it's around 180 quid, $200 cheaper than the full-fat Ninja TX, which does offer 12G SDI, in and out ports, plus 8K support and some wireless timecode nice bits. The Go just has HDMI, which actually is what most filmmakers need. So let's get into it. Inside the box we've got the Ninja TX Go unit itself, a USB-C cable for camera control. Yes, I did say camera control. The aerials and little colour identifiers so you can customise it to allow you to identify it on set alongside other monitors. There's a couple of plastic brackets to take the strain off HDMI and USB-C cables, and that's about it. There's no NPF battery or charger in the box, so you have to bring your own, but that's pretty standard. It can be run off USB-C power or a mains lead, but these aren't in the box either. There's also no HDMI lead for your camera and no way of mounting it to a camera apart from the standard ⅛20 sockets. So we used our trusty small rig quick release clamp, and there's no memory card either. Yes, and I did say memory card. Users of the older Ninja series had to use SSD drives. The latest Ninjas use CF Express Type B, which is so much more convenient. You can also hook up to an external SSD if you like. First impressions, it's surprisingly light, really solid, and this 1500 nit touchscreen, perfect for daylight shooting. Although in super bright conditions, there's nothing like using a sunshade. So what's new? Quite a lot. Let's start with the Atomos OS Linux. This now runs on Atomos's new lightning fast platform, which means the user interface is smoother, the tools respond faster, and overall it feels more stable. You can record in ProRes, ProRes Raw, Avid DNX and H.265 or 264. These are all preloaded, so there's no extra license feeds you need to cough up. And it records up to 6K RAW straight to that CF Express Type B card. This thing has Wi-Fi 6E, built-in camera to cloud and even NDI6 streaming. That means you can live stream, send feeds across the network or upload takes straight into the Atmosphere, Dropbox and more. These aerials mean that once you're connected, you're ready to upload your content to a remote editor to get cracking while you still shoot. As a monitor and recorder, you get the benefits of the large, bright screen with loads of monitoring tools that make your life easier. In terms of getting your composition spot on or nail your exposure, there are the pro tools you'd expect. But a real biggie is camera control and touch to focus on supported cameras direct from the monitor itself. So click top left to go to the main menu. Go to control, and there's how you enable or disable camera controls. Camera status shows you things like battery power, WB as color temp, displays white balance as a number like 6500 Kelvin rather than fluorescent or incandescent. Okay, so once that's enabled, you can click back to your main screen, and to do that you can enable touch to focus. So by touching the screen, the camera will focus on whatever you've touched on the screen. So to touch focus is focused on the back wheel of the motorcycle in the distance. If I want to focus on this closer part, just touch the seat unit and you can do really nice controlled focus pulls. To control settings such as ISO and aperture, you can touch the button at the side and then scroll up and down and you get a real-time view of what's actually happening. Same for aperture. You can close the lens down, open it up and see the effect that you're having in real time. And K is the white balance. So 2500 makes it look really cool because the light is normal daylight. We set it to expect a very warm light, or you can warm it right up by going to something really, really warm, or you can set it to roughly daylight, which is what most of the lights in this studio are set to, just by touching. To trigger recording on the screen, you just hit the record button and you see the red frame around it. I'm actually shooting ProRes Raw, which means it's being recorded to the CF Express Type B card inside the Ninja unit rather than to the camera. Depending on what settings you're using, that will trigger the camera to record as well. But not with ProRes Raw, because this camera, the Sony, simply can't do it. You can review what you've just taken by hitting the review button, and clicking the record button takes you back to the normal recording menu. So one of the key benefits of using a monitor like this is obviously it's a great big screen that's really bright, but you've got lots of professional level tools. So you can punch in, or you can use waveforms and histograms to gauge your exposure or false color. There's even vector scopes. That's focus peaking, and you can set all the parameters. And that gives you a highlight warning, and you can see it on the exhaust of the bike. This is where you can load up different LUTs. You can change zebra and focus peaking parameters. You can set grid lines, anamorphic de-squeezing, or not, in different strengths. And to go to the regular menu, so the source tells you that the monitor is getting its signal from HDMI. The input here is 4K 50 from an A7S Mark III in S-Log3 and SGAMUT3 Cine, and I'm exporting ProRes Raw. Output, well, I'm not outputting anything from the machine. Tells you how much space you've got left, what the compression is, back to camera controls and the connection menus. Now I've been shooting 4K RAW from the Sony a7S III over HDMI, recording to a CF Express card, and the TX Go handles it effortlessly. No drop frames, no delays. As Sony is one of the few remaining manufacturers that doesn't support RAW shooting internally, having it export RAW to the Atomos Ninja Go and record it to a CF Express Type B card is simply brilliant. The CF Express Type B cards are quicker than the Type A cards or SD cards that the Sony uses anyway. Just plug the CF card into a card reader and you're ready to roll with ProRes Raw, but without any of the stress of overheating of the camera body while shooting. For creators, filmmakers and anyone wanting pro quality recording from a mirrorless or DSLR camera, the Ninja TX Go feels like a serious step up. What you get is a super bright 1500 nit HDR monitor, ProRes Raw recording, CF Express and USB-C media, NDI streaming with Wi-Fi 6E, camera control with touch to focus, instant cloud updates, and a much faster, cleaner user experience. If you've been waiting for a compact monitor that behaves like a full production recorder, this is probably it. But if you're in the market for a 5-inch monitor, which do you choose, the Go or the TX? Choose the TX Go if you want to shoot with HDMI, mirrorless, need portability, want RAW and ProRes recording in a compact form factor. It's especially great for indie docs, solo creators, run and gun, YouTube, short films, BTS, vlog style work. Choose the full fat Ninja TX if you need SDI, 8K RAW, timecode, multicam or broadcast style robustness, so it's ideal for commercial, cinematic broadcast, multi-camera shoots or high-end production. Both now benefit from the same updated Atomos OS system and monitoring tools, and camera controls make it easy. You can't go wrong with either. For the majority of filmmakers or even photographers who want that lovely clear view to aid in composition, exposure setting and remote control, the Go is a more cost-effective buy. Whichever one you get, you're going to love them. So it's a bright sunny winter's day and we're off to a local, it's an old canal that goes right to the town centre where there's a little bit of wildlife. There's no wildebeest sweeping majestically across the plain, just a bit of swans and ducks. And but it's a good test to try out the Atomos Ninja TX Go in some real life conditions, and this sunshine makes it a bit of a test for sure. So we're here on location trying out the Atomos Ninja TX Go. So I'm going to get my camera on a tripod and film a little bit of easy to film wildlife. So just locking that down the tripod. Going to pop it on the top like that and plug it in via the HDMI and the camera control cable. So that's the camera control cable going into the side, USB-C, and that's the HDMI. And you do need to use a good quality HDMI cable. So just turn the monitor on. As you can see, it's a crisp, bright winter's day in Britain. So it's actually quite hard to see, which is where a really bright monitor like this really comes into its own. It's asking me if I want to use the PC remote, so the camera control. I said yes. And there we go. Let's have a little look. So at 120 frame, I set my shutter speed to 250, a little bit shallower depth of field, f4.5, and then using the monitoring tools, such as the waveform, I can adjust my ND to get the exposure about right. It's a really great view, even though it's a very bright day today, I can see pretty clearly what's going on. Clicking the waveform button gives me an RGB waveform. You can get rid of it by touching again, makes the whole screen clear, or click on the standard waveform button to get a real great visual look at how your exposure is. But white swans against a dark water in bright sunshine is a bit of a test of exposure, and it's using a monitor like this gives you a real good visual indication of whether you're over or under. Makes it so much easier in the edit. And of course, if you're blowing highlights, they're virtually impossible to get back. So it's really important to get your exposure right in camera, and the monitor really helps.